Guys, we got a great episode coming at you all about the history of the World Cup and soccer. Come see me this weekend, July 10th and 11th, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Helium Comedy Club, and then August 21st, 22nd, Portland, Maine, Empire Comedy Club, ChristyComedy.com for tickies.
See me in East Hampton this weekend, July 10th. See me in New Brunswick, New Jersey, July 17th and 18th. See me in Philly, August 14th and 15th. And Austin, August 21st to the 23rd. YannisPapasComedy.com for tickets. Patreon.com/HistoryHyenas for our weekly bonus episodes. Go check them out right now.
Guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of History Hyenas. I'm Chris Stefano, a.k.a. Christy the Goalkeeper. With me, as always, is Giannis Papas, a.k.a. Yanni No Gel.
Yanni, pretty good chance you're going to see me in one of these True Classic shirts.
It's what it is. Listen to me. We're off the beam and out of the program. I've gotten a hand job from a woman at West Garden. Giannis has having 17 slices of pizza. We're coming to...
None of that is true. We're not on the Patreon.
Okay,
None of it's true.
So I'm just
See, the thing is, none of it is actually true.
Yeah.
But you say it, and then you get in trouble, and then we got to erase episodes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We met Jesse. We constantly, lately, the last 3 weeks, we have been making Jesse edit episodes. He's had to take time away from his clay studio to edit episodes. And you're right, Yanni. Let's stay on the beam and within the lines today on this episode. But I'm in a good mood. I'm on 2 ketone IQs. I'm excited because today, in real time, the United States men are going to be playing at 8 p.m., but we're also going to watch Portugal versus Spain, which starts here in an hour or two, and that's good because I don't even need a Blue Chew when I'm watching that because they got hot guys.
Yeah, they got Ronaldo.
They got Ronaldo.
Cute kid. But did you ever see what Ronaldo looked like before he got rich?
Not cute.
He was banged up because he's the male Kardashian.
Yeah.
He looked banged up, got a little money, and then he got a new head.
That's what it is.
Look at that.
I mean, the kid's a hell of a player, and he's a hottie with a body. Kid got beautiful teeth.
Yeah.
Now, cuz we're into the World Cup.
We're into
like
it.
Most Americans, we're into the World Cup. We're into soccer big for a month.
We're into football.
We're into football for a month.
I don't think there's a problem with us also calling it football. Just because we have American football, we can just pronounce it football.
We're getting football. So we're going to talk about football today. We're going to talk about the origins of the World Cup. We're going to talk about, how about this? Ask me this right now, and I swear to God, I swear on Derek Jeter, I can do this off the top of my head. Nick, correct me if I'm wrong, because Nick is our soccer expert. How many countries have won the World Cup?
I know that Italy's done it 4 times. I know Italy's done 4.
No, I'm just saying, how many different countries have won the World Cup?
5.
8 countries have won the World Cup in 100 years. That's not a lot of countries. Do you know the countries? See if you can name them all.
I know Italy's got 4.
Italy's 1. Go, Italy. 1.
I know
Check.
the Germans got 4.
Check.
I know the Brazilians got 5.
Check.
I know Argentina's got 1.
No, they got 3.
I got 3.
Check.
I know the United States women got a few, baby. I love you, broads, even though you're...
We're not... we're not talking about chicks, but... So we got 4.
I know.
So give me the other 4.
I know Uruguay won the first one.
5. That's a tough one that most people don't get. Come on, let's go.
Ooh, baby.
Who are the last 3?
Ooh, baby.
We got Italy, Uruguay, Germany. You said Argentina.
Netherlands got 1.
Netherlands don't got 1, guy.
Okey-dokey.
They don't got. You can't win a World Cup in wooden shoes.
I know England's got 1.
England's got 1 in 1966. So right now we have 6. You need 2 more.
I need 2 more, baby. Give me a Mexico.
Mexico does not have enough.
Give me a.
Come on, there's a big one that you're forgetting. It's right on the tip of your stupid tongue.
Saudi Arabia.
No, they've won my heart.
Morocco.
Definitely not.
Yeah, this Morocco.
But
they made the semifinals. The first African team to make the semifinals
in the African Cup. Now, but Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I will give you a hint.
Portugal.
No, but Morocco, you mentioned Morocco, one of the teams that has won the World Cup. They have something to do with Morocco right now.
They have something to do with Morocco.
They have something to do with Morocco right now.
Something to do with Morocco.
Come on.
Right now.
Come on. Come on.
Muhammad?
No. No. They're playing Morocco, in the next round.
Oh.
So if you can tell me who's playing Morocco.
Oh. How did I forget?
Come on,
how did I forget? It's so hard to remember them because they're very unappreciative of what we did for them in World War II.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's easy to forget the freedom fries.
Yes, the freedom fries, the French, those baguettes.
They got
I think they got two.
They got
so
two.
we're missing one. And
no, that's 8.
No, you gave me 7.
Okie dokie, I'm going to go with Sweden.
No, not Sweden.
I'm going to go with Belgium. How do we forget another powerhouse? We're going to go with Spania. There are cackles all over this episode.
It's what it is. It's what the people pay for that they get for free.
Yeah. I forgot about them. Wow. So how many does Europe have?
How crazy is that in 100-year World Cup history, only 8 nations have ever won the World Cup, but the African nations are the best player. The African, if the World Cup said you play for the country of your heritage, Africa would win every World Cup because the best players on almost every team are African. They just get like the French. Half the French team they're from the African colonies of France. Yeah, they're not French.
But not all of them.
I mean, they're French, but they're African. The best players on England, besides Harry Kane, they're African descent. Africa is the best soccer players. Senegal, best.
Well, the best player is Italian from Argentina.
Yeah, but there's just a couple of outliers.
But you got the guy from Norway.
There's not everything is. As it seems.
And Zidane is, you got to say he's top.
But he was a Muzzy.
No, he was not.
Zidane from France?
No.
Algeria.
Was he?
Algerian, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, but he played for France.
Oh, so he was North African.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got to be one of the top 3, 4, right?
I don't know if they put him in the top. I think the consensus now is Messi is the best.
Yeah, North African, yeah.
Messi's a piece, too, with his shirt off. You ever Google Messi no shirt on?
Messi was born a midget.
Messi could also have played for Italy.
Do you know Messi was born a midget and he had to take human growth hormone to develop till he was 16 or 17?
Is that the truth?
That is the truth. He was born a squeak. I mean, he still is a squeak. He's 5'7".
I mean, his wife is an absolute, no doubt about it,
He's the most famous guy in the world. I mean,
No, she loves him for him.
Yeah, he's the most famous guy. He's the most talented soccer player maybe of all time. But Cristiano Ronaldo is also not African.
Yeah, so
Diego Maradona and Pele, the two best, are not Pele. Well, what do you mean, African continent or? You talking about
let's just move on to the next topic.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
What I want to talk to you about is, do you know what the hand of God goal is?
Yes.
And who did it?
It was Maradona.
And do you know what's his other famous goal? There's the hand of God goal. It happened in the same game. And then there was another goal where he just dribbled down the whole field past the entire the entire English team. By the way, Mexico losing to England what would be 2 nights ago now was the first Mexican loss in Stadium Azteca in 30 years.
I know, and they lost to England. And
that was that was the game of the tournament so far.
And it was crazy because it was like they were playing Mexico, so it was weird in my mind, right? It was like Italy, and they had to build a wall by the goal, and they were just repelling the Mexicans out of the wall.
Yeah, out of the wall.
They were just the Mexicans were trying to climb in there, and
they couldn't get them out.
Just couldn't get them in.
Let me tell you something right now.
Yeah.
Okay? Mexican fans are hot. The Spanish fans are hot.
Mexico.
And Brazilian fans are hot.
Yeah, what I want to happen...
Guys and girls.
What I want to happen is I want Canada, the United States, Central America, and South America to become like the EU. I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Is that bad?
No.
Would that be good in some way?
Yes.
Like we all became the same?
Yes.
No, Nick? If we made a pact like that?
I mean, who benefits? Because the USA is the only one that ever benefits from this.
How would the USA?
Yeah, but you're a U.S. citizen, guy.
Uruguay's doing really good by itself, though. All by itself. They did it all by itself.
See, you're a separatist.
I am a little bit.
You're a separatist.
I'm from Jackson Heights. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
It's true.
Yeah. I guess we kind of all are all our hemisphere besides Cuba, we're all allies.
We're all allies.
We're all allies.
Now, let's go. We wanted to do a fun little episode today about the history.
But what I'm saying is,
of
it'd
the
be
World
nice
Cup.
to get a couple of those Mexicans on the United States team.
I would love that. If it was North America versus Europe, North America, we'd have a really good team.
Yeah, but
we'd have almost no players from the United States.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. Our main players
would
British
be from
guy.
Mexico. We would just send the Mexican national team.
And we have one. Our main player is a British guy.
Yeah, so that's what we would
black.
do.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jess, can you pull up the history of the World Cup? I want to say that it all began in 1930. 13 teams participated. Uruguay defeated Argentina 4-2 in the very first one. About 93 spectators packed the Estadio Centenario. So the first game was in Uruguay. Was the World Cup? It started in Uruguay.
Yeah. And soccer was invented in England. In 1800
in the 1864-ish, but soccer had its roots 2,000 years. People were playing. They have artifacts of people kicking a ball around without their hands.
Yeah, you know who specifically?
The Chinese.
Yeah.
The Chinese were the ones that they just but it never wasn't organized into a formal sport until really the 1860s, and then FIFA was founded in 1904. And
FIFA's interesting because FIFA was probably the most corrupt sporting organization that's ever lived.
Is.
Yeah, but they had to clean up a lot of the corruption.
Well, they had to and that's what I think Donald Trump was able to get the red card reversed for the U.S. player, because I think they're so corrupt and Trump knows that he was probably like, look, guy, either reinstate the player or some of your corruption's going to get unmasked.
Yeah, he really knows how to talk to the corrupt. He knows his own.
Do you, as a soccer fan, Nick, is that at least one check mark for Trump that he was able to get one of the best players reinstated?
We don't know.
He was able to. It was him.
You think it was him?
100%.
Well,
how could it not have been him?
Well, here's the thing. It was a stupid fucking call.
Yeah.
It was not. You didn't even call it on the field. You didn't even call a yellow card on the field.
Right.
So then you can't go to review. It should have never went to review. He didn't even call it a yellow card.
That kid, what a long 3 days, 4 days.
Was that a red card? Was that intentional?
I didn't actually see the play, but they've been calling things weird all tournament. Like Messi should have gotten a red card in the very beginning. My dad thinks that FIFA wants Argentina to win because they never give Argentina or Messi any of the red cards. My dad refers to them as Argent FIFA now.
Right. Ooh, I like that.
I like Argent FIFA.
Here's the deal, though. You can't, if you're FIFA, you got to understand Messi's got to be on the field.
Same with Wemby. When Wembenyama, you're not going to throw him out of the
he should have been thrown out, too.
But it's just...
the good guys always win. Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson always win. And
Jesse, honey, can you go back to the ChatGPT? Yeah.
Chris is the only man I've ever met who will refer to another guy as honey, and it's funny.
It's funny.
Yeah.
So we had the tournament in 1930 in Uruguay, 1934 in Italy, 1938 in France. Then it was canceled in 1942 because of a little man named Adolf Hitler. Then in 1946, we had to recover, like Jesse's brother going through paternity leave. I had to just take a minute. Then 1950, it comes back in Brazil. The modern Canazo. Instead of a traditional final, the tournament ended with a championship group. Brazil only needed a draw against Uruguay, and Uruguay stunned nearly 200,000 fans at the Maracanã Stadium by winning 2-1. The upset became known simply as Maracanazo, one of the greatest shocks in sports history. Nick, are you familiar with this?
I am, yes.
Yeah, this is big. So Uruguay has won 2 World Cups.
Actually, technically, so a lot of people don't like Uruguay.
That was very gay. Actually, technically.
Listen to this, babies. You don't even know about this.
Yeah.
So Uruguay claims they have 4 championships because prior to the World Cup, the Olympics was considered, FIFA considered that whoever won the Olympics, that's the world champions.
Wow.
And Uruguay actually has the 2 before FIFA started. So much like, like the Giants, they have world championships before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Same thing with Uruguay. They consider themselves 4-time champions.
I'll give it to them.
And I agree too.
Yeah, I agree with Uruguay. I would recognize them as 4 championships.
Dude, look at this. There was 200,000 fans there.
Dude, the Stadium Azteca in Mexico last night, they renovated so you can only fit 85,000. When Maradona played there, it was like 180,000 fans.
That is crazy.
Do you know how we don't have stadium? We can't. Like, I think the biggest one we got here is Michigan. University of Michigan got 100,000 fans.
How about Ohio's a big one, right?
I think it's same. I think they're all like 100,000. Yeah. Then what happened is in 1958, we have a little man named Pele, the Pele era. Pele, for Brazil, they won 3 World Cups, 1958, 1962, 1970. The 1970 Brazilian team is considered the greatest team ever assembled, featuring stars such as Jairzinho, Tostao, and Carlos Alberto Torres. The truth of the matter is I love sports. I don't know who these fucking guys are.
Well,
besides Pele. And my name on Grindr was Gele.
Listen, Gele, this was before we were alive, so it's not our fault.
But we still should know. Like, I don't know, even like the soccer players. I mean, guy, we just don't know. We don't care.
Yeah, but we didn't have soccer growing up. Soccer wasn't big in Brooklyn. It's not big. It was basketball or baseball.
But it was big in Brooklyn, just not our kind of Brooklyn.
No, it was never big. It's never big here.
But amongst Latinos, it's huge.
Yeah, but they didn't get here till recently.
Right.
When we were kids, there wasn't that many around.
That's right. In the 50s. Right, that's true. That's a good point.
Puerto Ricans weren't even in it.
Puerto Ricans came big in the 50s.
Yeah, Puerto Ricans are into boxing. 50s. Puerto Ricans are into boxing.
Yeah, Puerto Rico. Does Puerto Rico have its own soccer team, or would their players be on our team, on the U.S. team? Yeah. Like the best Puerto Rican player would theoretically play for the United States.
No, because Puerto Rico plays internationally as a basketball team. They could play as a soccer team.
Yeah, why wouldn't they play on Team USA?
Because
they're part of the USA.
We treat Puerto Rico like a guma.
It's what it is.
We don't have you're not my wife, but you're my side piece.
Got it.
Yeah. So America just treats Puerto Rico on the off nights. I'm with my guma.
Gumad.
Yeah, they don't let them all the way in to the life.
It's what it is. You come to my wedding, I'll smush a cake in your face.
Yeah, we treat Puerto Rico like, hey, I'm with you, but I can't be seen with you in public.
I can't be seen with you in public, babe.
Don't take any pictures with me.
But you do got a nice fat ass.
You got a fat ass, and that's about it. But yeah, their big sport is boxing.
Boxing
They're
is big.
Into boxing.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that the Puerto Ricans created salsa from Cuban music.
Well, I learned that from the commercial that's been circulating.
Right.
Yeah, and I think something. And what
Brazil was Japanese judo went to Brazil and they turned it into jujitsu.
Jujitsu, and then reggaeton was also something that was created.
Jamaicans and
coming into the Spanish country. Yeah,
so that's cool.
So the World Cup evolved along with television. 1954, first televised World Cup. 1970, first broadcast in color worldwide, and then. That's really where soccer takes off internationally. Now, what are the theories of why it never really got big here? And I think it will get. I think that soccer's on its way to get the biggest it's ever gotten in America, and it probably is right now, but I still don't think it'll ever be as big as it is in Europe. And what are the theories?
I think it will, because I didn't know that MLS, like I also said in the bonus episode, patreon.com/historyhyenas, MLS is up like
60%.
60% the viewership. So, because Messi came and plays in Miami. He basically lives in Miami. So I think that's big. He's still good too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. He's still one of the best players in the world.
He's tied for the most goals in the tournament right now. Him, Mbappe, and Haaland.
Yeah, he's like the Djokovic of soccer. He's still good. He's 40.
Right.
But he always looked 40, which is hilarious. When he was 18, he looked 40.
Dude, I thought, because he's got the kind of head and face that you think he's fat, but he's shredded, bro.
He's shredded, but his face just looks like you hired him to do your taxes.
It's just what it is.
Yeah, he just doesn't look like an athlete.
So soccer didn't take off in the U.S. primarily because American sports culture formed early around baseball, football, and basketball. Those are the American sports.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We like to throw the ball.
Yeah.
We like to hit the ball.
Yeah.
We like to put the ball through a hoop
with
our hands.
Yeah.
We're not into using our feet.
I'm not kicking a ball.
Yeah.
I'm not. The only thing that I'm doing is I'm kicking people out of our country.
We like to use our feet to kick them out.
Yeah. That's what old school people said. But I got to be honest with you. If I could do it over, when I was walking around World Cup yesterday, if I could do it over, I would have really tried as hard as I could to put all my effort into soccer. I think in the 90s, if you were a really good soccer player, you had a chance to get a soccer scholarship, and you had a chance to get, like, I felt like one of the easiest paths to become a professional in the 90s was soccer, because not that many people are playing. Now so many people are playing. But you know what's interesting about soccer? What I love about soccer, about the Premier League and the La Liga, because it's interesting. There's not just one NBA equivalent in soccer. It's like England has a league that's like the NBA. France has a league that's like the NBA, and Spain has a league that's like the NBA. Those are the big ones. And there's no draft. Like these kids get scouted. Like Messi was being looked at when he was 6 years old. Holland was being looked at when he was 6 years old, because there is no draft, because if you suck in your league, then you get relegated to a lower league. So that is real consequences. Like imagine your favorite NBA team is not in the NBA anymore.
Right.
So you can't tank. You can't try to get the top pick. There is no top pick. There is no draft.
Right.
You just have to almost be. So that's where, in a way, like, the corruption begins early, because there must be players that are better than certain other players, but because of political reasons, they don't get picked for the national team, or they don't get put into the, club system of these, these Manchester Uniteds of the world, because they just don't know the right people.
Right.
Where like the NBA draft is like, if you're good enough, theoretically, like you'll get into a college and your talent will speak for itself. But here, it's just very, very, it's a completely different thing.
Yeah, and look, I just don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear, and this is what I don't want to hear.
Because I'm the U.S. goalkeeper, you can talk to me honestly.
Yeah,
because if I don't like something that you say, then I'm going to save it. And I'm going to block it.
Okay, I just don't want to hear, listen, the rest of the world is lucky. They are lucky that our athletes haven't taken to soccer the way they have to football.
Yes.
And especially football.
Yep.
All right, but basketball as well, because you look at what's his name? Viking head.
Holland.
The kid's 6'5". All right. If you just put LeBron James the way he runs, he doesn't even need that foot coordination. Just on headers, on corner kicks, right? Just on corner kicks. How many you just put him out there, and they'll be climbing on him. They'll try to move him.
100%,
They can't
I
move
agree.
him. He just head it right the fuck in there.
I agree with you.
You have to knock
You're not
going to
stop this kid.
Yeah, and then give me Barry Sanders. Put Barry Sanders on a pitch.
Yeah.
I want to see Barry
I want to
Sanders
start
on
calling
a
it the pitch.
Yeah, can you imagine if Barry Sanders picked up soccer as opposed to football with the way he could cut like that?
Yeah.
He'd be the greatest football player that ever fucking lived. So I don't want to hear it. What's the guy? He's on Miami, the fastest wide receiver? Tariq Hill.
Yeah.
What is he, 5'10"? So he's compact. He's got
he'll
the
light
soccer
people up.
I mean, just running. I mean, what are we talking about?
Because the one thing I noticed being at the World Cup, soccer is very, very physical.
Very
it's
physical.
An insanely physical game. These guys are running into each other. They're hitting each other. They're fighting for position. I didn't realize how crazy it honestly was. But I agree with you. Our athletes are stronger than the soccer players. Like these guys, our football players, if you taught them how to kick a ball, they would hurt some motherfuckers.
Yeah. Now look, the rest of the world has caught up in basketball, so
we got to catch up at soccer.
I think we need to do that because listen, I mean, it's pretty amazing that the best basketball, like probably you'd say the top 3, 4, five best basketball players in the world are now not born in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's the first time ever that's ever happened. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexandra.
Keep it. Yes.
Keep it. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
You got Jokic.
Yeah.
You got Doncic.
Wemby.
You got Wemby. You got Giannis.
Yep. They're
and all 5 of those guys.
The best American we got is Jalen Brunson.
I mean, yeah.
He's our guy.
I mean, it's crazy to think how hard we used to dominate. So it just shows that if you just get the country into it.
Oh, Tatum. We got Tatum.
But I mean, he's not even close to these guys.
Right.
He's not even close to those guys.
Right. Because ZocDoc, I use ZocDoc. That's where I make all my doctor's appointments. They make it really, really easy. I'm telling you, you know me. I like going to the doctor. I got like a subscription. ZocDoc, I can search a doctor. You put in your health insurance information and then search doctors near you. They get all stars. They get all ratings. I only have been to the doctor off a ZocDoc doctor, and then I try to make them my friends. I got them all on my phone.
Yeah, the thing is, I actually have been using ZocDoc
too.
for years. So it's just something you got to just download the app. It makes it super easy. So you can search and compare local in-network doctors. That, like Chris said, there's reviews up there. It's almost like a dating site for doctors.
Dude, and the appointments happen fast. 24 to 72 hours, and then boom. And then you can, get same day appointments. ZocDoc is free to use. They got more than 150,000 providers with 200 specialties across all 50 states.
Yeah.
So it's dope.
Your health matters, and taking care of yourself shouldn't be complicated. Find and book the right doctor with ZocDoc. Head to ZocDoc.com/hyenas to get started and check that appointment off your to-do list. That is ZocDoc.com/hyenas. Guys,
This podcast is sponsored by Blue Chew, and I like to see your rock hard cocks. Blue Chew tablets go in my mouth, and then my dick goes peyoing.
Blue Chew Gold is better sex in a tablet. They combine 4 ingredients into one powerful solution. 2 ingredients get you hard physically, and 2 support arousal and desire in the brain. It works fast and lasts. Guys, have a complete experience in the bedroom with Blue Chew Gold.
Blue Chew Gold is better sex in a tablet. They combine 4 ingredients into one powerful solution. 2 ingredients get you hard physically, and 2 support arousal and desire in the brain, just like Yanni said. There's a reason Blue Chew is the #1 brand for better sex. Experience it yourself at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the 3rd free with promo code Hyenas. That's promo code Hyenas. You will receive an additional 10% off plus free overnight shipping on your first order. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the pod and the bedroom and sponsoring my cock. But with football, I will say one thing that I the game too, like these guys really respect the game, and the fans respect. It's all about respect in soccer. Like Diego Maradona said in 2018, and it came to fruition when it got announced that the United States would be, and Canada and Mexico would be hosting 2026 World Cup. He was like, watch what they're going to do. And it's a real thing. I thought it was AI, but it's real. He said, I'm paraphrasing his quote, but he was like, they're going to make it into quarters, and they're going to ruin the integrity of our game to make money. And that's what happened. They have these hydration breaks now, which is not a part of normal soccer. It's only for the World Cup. And they cited it as, some teams are playing in 100-degree plus weather. They need to have water. And then they said, you know what? Because it's not going to be fair where we do it for some teams, not others, let's just make hydration breaks a part of this World Cup. And it really messes with the flow of the game, because it's running time. Soccer, the clock never stops. Even in the hydration breaks, when they go to commercial, the clock is still running in real time. And so that hurt, that you literally change the flow of the game. You can have a team on its heels, and then in 25 minutes, the ref is going to blow the whistle and give everybody a timeout, which is not a part of the game.
Well, but he tries to blow it when it's when
the momentum is shifting. Or he tries to blow it. But my point is, though, he tries to blow it. Yeah, he won't stop it during momentum, I'm saying. But that's not a part of the game. You shouldn't be doing that. And Maradona said, America's going to ruin the fabric of our sport by being greedy. And he was right. He said it in 2018, and then they made up a BS excuse. No real soccer fan thinks that this is okay. The hydration break. Right. They know it's for money.
Right.
And the players don't. The players hate it too. The players are like, I heard a player from a country that was eliminated, he said, you're seeing more people cramp and get hurt because you're stopping our flow. We don't need water.
Right.
We've conditioned they also have played in much hotter. You think it's not hotter in frickin' Argentina? Of course it's hotter there. Oh, actually, that's more of a cold climate, right? Argentina in the mountains? I don't know.
Well, it's, that's...
But my point is Maradona was right. It's these hydration breaks. They've changing football, and I wonder if in the next World Cup with Spain and Morocco and Portugal, if they're going to not do that, because everybody's against it besides American corporate greed.
Yeah, well, we need, America, we need to make a couple dollars.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, Guy, where I understand and I do kind of acknowledge what you're saying is yes, but you're saying it from the confines of my country, so I only got one question for you. Where's your papers?
That's it. You're right, though. I see what you're saying. And, the thing that's interesting about FIFA, which is, runs the international soccer, right, which happens every 4 years or whatever, is that because soccer is such a popular global sport, the most popular sport in the world.
By far.
Every country is vying to get, they want the
World Cup.
So the process is what we should go over because it's very interesting. And that's how the corruption slipped in so well, is because these FIFA officials were going like, give me money.
Right.
Everyone wants money.
Right, because they're saying, you know what, we need the hydration breaks. It's important for the players to stay hydrated. We don't want them playing in hot climates. And you say, well, where's the World Cup at 2030? Saudi Arabia. In the middle of the desert in June.
Yeah. Everyone it's a bidding process, so they meet, right? And they had to make changes because there was the FBI, I think, was the one who cracked the massive corruption.
Like guys went to jail with FIFA, right?
Huge
because they were greasing their pockets.
Wasn't it in the 90s? It was huge corruption, and then they try to fix it. But when you have that incentive, how do you?
Right.
It's almost impossible to get rid of. So it was actually 2015. It wasn't in the 90s. I'm sorry. So, but it's
sundowning.
But it spans decades, right? So it's happening way before 2015. 2015 is when they cracked it. So I'm probably not wrong in saying the 90s was probably a dense decade of corruption. But they had they found the DOJ racketeering indictments. So this was just the 2026. The conversation surrounding FIFA's corruption has been reignited due to a major controversy during this World Cup. The political interference allegations, media reports revealed the U.S. president directly called, you're right, President Gianni Infantino to request a review of the ban, backlash and integrity concern. But this has nothing to do.
Well, he said that Trump said that the FIFA president, that it wasn't just Gianni Infantino, that it's a whole committee of people. But I'm telling you, the way that this, what do you think that the committee, Infantino probably told the committee, you better reverse this because Trump's probably threatened me with something.
Yeah.
What do you think? It's just because
there's so much money on the line.
Because look, here's the truth, guy, is even though this is favorable to the United States, and we're talking, the game is tonight, so by the time this episode comes out, there would have already been a result, and I'm hoping that the United States won. I am the goalkeeper. But it isn't right that he was reinstated. It sucked. He shouldn't have got the red card in the first place. But it does just show you the arbitrary rules of the FIFA, where it's like, you shouldn't be allowed to be reinstated. I'm happy that it's going for us, and I'm happy that he's playing. But I get like Wayne Rooney of England and a lot of, soccer players are like, yes, there shouldn't have been a red card, definitely, but a red card was called. And now FIFA to just say, because FIFA didn't wipe it out. FIFA just said it's suspended for a year. So he's going to have to serve some kind of suspension in a U.S. sanctioned qualifying game next year.
I disagree. I think it's what you call good old United States efficiency and justice.
It's what it is.
That's what I think, because the Europeans, they have this, that's a foul, that's not a foul. You call it over there, you call it over there. It was a bullshit call.
Right.
It was a bullshit call. Like I said, the guy didn't even fucking on the field pull a yellow.
Now,
so he's probably fucking paid off.
Now, if Trump was really funny, and he would have done this a year ago, and I hope that maybe he still has time to change it, maybe he'll do it at least for the final at MetLife, is if he was really funny, he would make the soccer balls Joe Biden's face.
If he was really funny, what he would do is he would say, from now on, it's called Trump World Cup, and he'd slap his name on it.
Would that be funny, though, if you had Biden and Kamala
be very funny.
And Ruth Bader Ginsburg as the faces on the balls? You would laugh at that, right?
Yeah, so this is how the corruptions worked, and that
Tell me how the corruption works right now, you handsome motherfucker.
2015, it was revealed, right? But so basically, you got a relatively small group of executives that can influence who receives TV rights, sponsorship contracts, tournament marketing rights, and in separate alleged schemes, votes connected with World Cup hosting, because it's like you know how much money you're pouring into that country if the World Cup is there.
Right.
People come from all over.
Big
It's just
money.
huge money. So private companies wanted those rights. So a sports marketing company might make millions by obtaining exclusive rights cheaply and then reselling broadcasting and sponsorship packages around the world. So what was happening was the company secretly paid the decision makers, and the payment was disguised through intermediaries, shell companies, offshore accounts, false contracts, and layered bank transfers. And in return, the FIFA officials helped steer the valuable rights towards that company. So prosecutors described this as a long-running system in which bribes and kickbacks became part of doing business.
Right.
And the FIFA officials protected one another politically. FIFA governance depended heavily on national football associations and regional blocs. President who maintained loyalty among federation leaders could remain politically powerful, while officials further down the structure controlled valuable regional tournaments and commercial rights. So it was backdoor dealings to grease each other's hands. This is the problem. The problem with human nature ultimately is people want more money.
That's what it is.
They
want more money.
No matter what the system is, people are going to want a little more for themselves.
When I ask yourself, and you know what you have to say to yourself, baby gorgeous? Do you know what you have to say when it comes to money and finance? You have to say whatever it is that you're buying, what is that costing you with your life? You know, like you want to buy a nice house. Okay, how much of your time are you going to have to dedicate to it? You want to buy, yourself nice sneakers. It's like, how much of that risk does that put you out? What is the cost? How much of your life are you willing to trade for it? And that's what it is. But people want more money, but then they don't want to trade parts of their life for it. Well, it doesn't work that way, hon.
Well, that it also, when you look at Greece in 2008,
I want to take a good look at Greece in 2008.
It's a perfect example, right? So it was like everyone, the body politic, the people wanted all the benefits they voted for, but nobody wanted to pay for it.
Right.
So that's essentially what it is. It's like we want it, but we don't want to pay for it.
Right.
We don't want it. And so what people were doing, it became a word in Greece called philakia. You give a little envelope.
Philakia.
People want things off the books. They're like, hey, I want this paid in cash so the government won't take the taxes, but I don't want to pay my taxes, but I want the benefits for my taxes. But back to this for 1 second. So how this got cracked, an American football executive named Chuck Blazer became a cooperating witness after U.S. investigators pursued him. His cooperation helped investigators penetrate the system from inside. So the U.S. came in and cracked this international bullshit the same way we overturned that red card that was unjust, because we're about justice, freedom, and the American way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Chuck Blazer sounds like a scumbag.
Yeah. So the investigation followed payments moving through the United States financial system, giving American prosecutors jurisdictional hooks for racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering charges. Then, 2015, at the luxury bar Aluk Hotel in Zurich, sounds like the start of a movie, Swiss authorities arrested 7 football officials there at the request of the United States authorities. We are the police of the world because we're the only ones who are moral.
We're good people.
We're good people. Just before FIFA's Congress, the U.S. simultaneously unsealed indictments against 9 football officials and 5 corporate executives. Sepp Blatter, who was, I guess, the head, was not charged in that original U.S. indictment. But the scandal destroyed the political order around him. He announced his resignation shortly after winning re-election, and separate FIFA ethics proceedings later banned him from football-related activities.
Yeah, so FIFA was scummy, but supposedly they're a little bit better now.
Yeah, well, this was the turning point.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that the United States... so as recently as 2025, a U.S. appeals court reinstated convictions in a related soccer rights bribery case, showing how long the litigation. So the deeper story here is the structure of FIFA itself. It seems like, helped make they were like a mafia protecting themselves.
Right.
And they just continued the corruption because it worked so well for them. And it worked for everybody. And the companies and the countries that were benefited, they were like, this system works. I pay you a little more, you take a little off the side, but then that money comes into my country, into my pocket. So it's like, how do you avoid? People are just always going to do that.
But that's what's interesting too with soccer. It's like the duality of it, because you have such the most corrupt governing body of it. It's FIFA. I think it's everybody else should admit that. But then the game itself itself is so beautiful, and the fans of the game are just so passionate. I mean, they cry at the national anthem. They respect the sanctity of the game in a level that other teams, other sports don't. So it's interesting to have such a corrupt governing body, but then such a passionate kind of fan base. And, the players too they care about the integrity of the game. They care, they try to help each other up. You don't see fights that much. They don't really talk shit. I mean, they do a little bit, but not like other sports.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like they're in it so much for the money. I mean, they make a lot of money at the top, don't get me wrong, but they're not like having holdouts like the American athletes. They don't really do that. They play for their club. They take a lot of pride in playing for their club, a lot of pride in playing for the country. Like, we have athletes in our country that are like, I'm going to sit out the Olympics. They would never do that in Europe. They would be like, that would be a sin.
Well, we don't. Now that's changed, though, because we do have the best athletes playing on the basketball.
I'm happy that we're back.
Yeah, we're
back because of one person only. You know who it is.
It's Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry.
That's what it is.
But if you rank sports on a corruption meter, soccer is number one.
Who's two?
Number two, you'd have to go probably boxing.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and then the Olympics.
Yes.
Because there's been serious bribery and host selection scandals. And soccer, like, I don't think it's anything inherent about soccer. That's not what I'm saying. It's just by virtue of it's a byproduct of how popular it is, because you're talking about global fucking money.
Honestly, though, if you wanted to stop a war and you wanted to do that, I'm serious. They should one year put the World Cup in Israel and Palestine. Put it between those two countries, and you'll watch how it'll just stop a war, because all the fans, everybody will come together. You bring so much happiness and joy, and might make people think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do it. You know what I really think we should do? Start doing the World Cup in war-torn countries, like it's in Ukraine and Russia, and then you watch them come together, and then it's going to be very hard to come together for that event and then go back to fighting. You would feel so stupid if you did that. I think that, and I think my new rule, if I became El Presidente of the United States or FIFA, any type of big government thing, whether you're the president of FIFA, or you're the president of the United States, president of any country, you know what I would make everybody do? Everybody, when you become president, you have to do ayahuasca. Everybody's got to do ayahuasca and open up the third eye.
Yeah.
And then you tell me, once you got that third eye wide open, you tell me if you're going to go to war. You tell me if you're going to try to, hurt your own people. Every leader should do ayahuasca. That's a rule.
You know what the problem is? You have the leader aspect, but then you got the people aspect. So if you did it Israel-Palestine, and they would all stop to watch it, they'd stop going to war. But if the Palestinians lose, and this is what's good about your point, is if the Palestinians lost and one of the Palestinian players made a mistake, then the Palestinian people would kill that team.
That's the problem.
And if the Israelis did the same thing, the Israelis would kill the other Israelis.
The only problem I could see, especially with a game being in Palestine, is saying, like, you would be watching the game and you say, what looks weird? And you say, oh, they're playing. That's the issue, is the soccer ball would have a yarmulke on it, and that would be the problem.
Right, because
and that's just not okay, and we would have to have sanctions against that.
Right, because the thing is, you got to deal with the do-to-job people, right? The do-to-job people are the fans. These are people who do the job. Those are the people who build the aqueducts, do whatever you say, and it tends to, even though it's a sport, the shitty nature of humans just tends to come out because they riot, they hit each other.
Yeah.
And also in 1994 at the World Cup, a Colombian defender accidentally scored his own goal against the United States, and Colombia lost the match 2-1, and Colombia was subsequently eliminated from the group stage. And then we all know what happened to that gentleman afterwards, because just that's how serious people take soccer. So you say it's just a sport, but to these people, it's not.
No. I will now.
Pablo Escobar shot the guy.
Well, no. The guy was killed because Pablo Escobar had already been killed. Pablo Escobar would have not allowed this to happen to Andres Escobar. If Pablo Escobar was alive, I believe Andres Escobar would not have been killed. But I think either Pablo Escobar had just been killed.
This had nothing to do with Pablo Escobar.
No, it just same last name.
Yeah.
But Pablo Escobar, I think, had been either arrested already, or Pablo Escobar wasn't around. And I know part of it is people say that Pablo Escobar would have not allowed this to happen.
Yeah.
Or if it would have happened, some people would have been killed, because he was, he loved the Colombian soccer team.
Right. The killing followed an argument in which Escobar, the player in question, was taunted about the own goal and gambling losses, having long been suspected as part of the background. It's one of the darkest stories.
Yeah, I mean, but I will tell you, other sports are just a game. Like, to me, even the big sports, even basketball, soccer is not. And after experiencing a World Cup, you realize, just from the emotion of the fans, I mean, if you're crying at the national anthem, it's not just a game. It means something. Like the countries, like imagine a country like Colombia, who's still in the World Cup, wins the World Cup for the first time in its history. That changes the economy for them. Like that, it's a different, it is so much more than game. That's why I think the World Cup used that to help humanity. Go to a war-torn country and put the World Cup there.
Yeah.
Make it, it'll be safe.
So it's sort of like a first-round draft pick. You put it in the shittiest place and it picks them up.
The next World Cup, fine. Portugal and Colombia, Portugal and Morocco and Spain already have that one. Then Saudi Arabia's got the next one. But the one after that, go to Ukraine, go to Russia, go to Jerusalem.
Ooh, cuz let's talk about insurance for your pets.
ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program. If you've ever owned a pet, and I do own a pet, you know they run on their own logic. Jump first, think later, ask questions, get sprayed by a skunk. Doesn't matter. It's part of what makes them so lovable. But you also end up with surprise vet visits and you don't know what the hell to do. But that's why ASPCA Pet Health Insurance helps cover eligible vet expenses. So when those moments happen, you focus on getting your pet the care that they need instead of stressing over the cost.
Yeah, it's just a really smart thing to do to have pet insurance for your pet just in case. You know, I got 2 dogs. I got pet insurance and I got it this way. The ASPCA Pet Health Insurance Program offers customizable accident and illness plans that can fit your budget, your lifestyle, and even your pet's particular quirks. Because let's be honest, vet bills can add up. So right now, what you got to do to explore coverage, visit ASPCAPetInsurance.com/hyenas. That's ASPCAPetInsurance.com/hyenas. Again, that's ASPCAPetInsurance.com/hyenas. This is a paid advertisement. Insurance is underwritten by either Independence American Insurance Company or United States Fire Insurance Company and produced by PTZ Insurance Agency Limited. The ASPCA is not an insurer and is not engaged in the business of insurance. No, but how do you deal?
Do it.
But how do you deal with the human rights abuses of those countries? Are you tacitly ignoring those, approving them by allowing the World Cup to go to those countries? And that takes us to 2022, where the World Cup was in Qatar, and
well, they gave the Qatar gave its citizens, you know, jobs to build the stadiums, and they did it all by the books, and those workers were given jobs.
They did it by the book, and that book was called the Quran. And that book said it's okay to have slaves.
It's what it is.
Because essentially that's what the controversy was about. Because make zero mistake about it, Qatar and Saudi Arabia just kind of has slavery.
They had a little thing, but they don't call it slavery. They call it something cute. It's called the kafala system, where workers are trapped in Qatar because of the kafala, a little sponsorship system, and the rule tied a worker's legal visa to a single boss.
Yeah.
So not a slave owner, not a master, a single boss, and workers could not change their job or leave the country without their boss's permission, which usually wasn't granted. And bosses used this rule to force workers to work long hours with low pay. So you say, hello, my name is Kafala Harris. I am your boss.
Yeah, and what happens is a lot of these guys die. They never really get back home. The boss, it's basically... it's a workaround. It's a workaround.
Well, we have another word for it. It's called a loophole.
It's called a loophole.
It's what it is. It's called a loophole.
You change the language a little bit. You know, because here's the situation: is Saudi Arabia had slavery, I think, till the 1960s. So the Beatles were playing music, and Saudi Arabia still had slaves.
I would argue that Saudi Arabia still has slaves.
So
I would say that it's probable that they still have slaves.
Yeah, because they unfortunately just seems like they really enjoy it.
It's
It
just
seems like something they like. In the United States, what happened is we started doing business when oil became, it used to be what? They used to pearl dive. Pearls was their bigger thing. So they used slaves for the pearl diving, and then it became oil, and we started doing business with them. Because when they were doing the pearl diving and they were using slaves, we didn't really care as much.
Again, it's not called slavery. It's called the kafala system, and they have a little song called Kafala la 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 slaves. Kafala la la la, kafala la 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 slaves. So it's just listen, guy.
But they only got rid of like actual slavery because we said, hey, you can't do that anymore.
It's one of those things where you call it slavery, I call it kafala. It's tomato. The people over there will pick whichever one you like.
Yeah, it's forced labor, right?
It's what it.
Nick, would you call that slavery? Because the employer controls the visa, the job, the housing, the passport, wages, and the person's ability to leave or change jobs.
I mean, that sounds good to me.
You know what's wild, though? I did do some research on the kafala system and learned a little bit about it. What's crazy is how we look at this as like, okay, that's slavery, and like it's an injustice. It's very similar to how things were 250 years ago. During modern slave times, we look at slavery as barbaric now, and how could people do that? But during the time, it felt just like this, where like, we know it's happening, but nobody's doing anything because they're saying it's not slavery. Same thing with the South. They would say, no, it's not what you think, and we just allowed it to happen. Isn't that wild? Because 200 years from now, they'll look at this and be like, how barbaric was that? And the world just watched.
Yeah.
But we're lit. So it's like you would talk to somebody from the 1800s and be like, when they were living there, it was just over there.
Right.
Very interesting, right?
Right.
How like nobody's the villain in their own story ever. I will always make things okay in my mind. So the kafala system is okay, but it's not okay.
Right. Well, I don't think it's not okay in every way if you have if you're in international human rights,
which I am very into.
Yeah, it just depends. It's the thing. Culture kind of just gets in the way. Like, you know, unfortunately, it's just historically accurate to say that, you know, in traditional Islamic law, slavery was a go.
Right.
Slavery got the green light. It was just a go. So when they had to get rid of it, it was because of Western pressure. They weren't really into it. Nobody who has slavery loves giving it up.
No.
Because it's really great to have someone do the work for you and they can't say anything about it.
You just can't do anything.
Certain benefits that come from that. So, you know, kafala is not exactly slavery, but, you know, it's a migrant labor system.
Kafala la la la, kafala la 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 la.
So, you know, it's tied to
a sponsor.
It's a sponsor. Older Arabian protection sponsorship customs.
Sponsor.
Islamic legal concepts of guarantee.
Hey, listen, is a part of kafala, can you confiscate someone's passport? Sure.
Yeah.
Can you withhold their wages? Sure.
Yeah.
Can you force confinement? Sure.
Yeah.
Can you psychologically or physically abuse them? Absolutely. But it's not slavery, you piece of shit.
Yeah. This is a good, accurate summation. Kamala did not directly originate.
Not Kamala, kafala.
Kafala. Kafala did not directly originate as a Quranic slavery law, but it developed in a region. This is what I'm trying to say politically correct. It developed in a region whose legal and social traditions had long accepted slavery and extreme dependency relationships, and the modern system can reproduce slave-like control when a worker's legal system is placed in the hands of a private sponsor.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
So Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030, they're abolishing kafala, and they began dismantling the traditional kafala system, and they replaced it with a modernized, electronically regulated contractual model. So now, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just not the same.
I mean, Dubai was built by slaves.
It's what it is. They got real nice hotels.
People they force them to work, and a lot of them just die. It's just how it is. But listen, you know, it's like sometimes my daughter really likes a toy and she's being bad, and I try to take the toy. She really doesn't want to let go of the toy.
It's just what it is.
If you come from a tradition for, over 1,000 years where you had slavery, it's not something you're just going to be able to rip out of their hands.
They're
just going to go, okay, we can't do that, but can we do this, which is that? And you go, that's still that. And they go, no, it's this. And we go, but we think it's that.
Guy, it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing.
It's a thing.
It's just a thing. And what we do here is we report on the state of the world. We are the news. The United States men, by the time you're hearing this, would have beaten Belgium. You ready for this? 2-0. I'm saying that they're going to beat Belgians 2-0. And then the winner, the problem with the United States beating Belgium is then things start to get a little hairy because they're going to have to either play Portugal or Spain, and that's no bueno. And then after that, if they win that, they're going to have to play France, which is really not good.
Yeah, so it's really... But the Knicks won the championship. Why can't the United States team win?
Because they have no fucking chance. That's why.
But here's the deal. As long as the only team I'm scared of is Morocco, and I'll show you why. Can you just pull up the player who did the cut off your head sign and then yelled Ali Akbar? Because those are the guys I think that are the scariest for the United
and if
States.
you're scared of the Moroccan winning, then don't go to Astoria, because every time Astoria wins, the Moroccan fans... Have you seen Morocco take over Astoria?
I haven't been to Astoria since it's become Morocco.
Yeah. Yeah.
Used to be Greek.
Yeah.
But the Ottoman Empire happened in Queens.
Yeah. It's just what it is. So who's the player? There's a guy on the Iraqi team named Ali Akbar. By the way.
So, Moroccan soccer player do head cutoff motion.
Yeah. By the way, the World Cup is, we talked about it. I didn't realize a guy from Cape Verde wanted for grape. A guy from France, a guy from Morocco wanted for grape.
Yeah, that guy right there, he's like their best player.
Yeah, he's wanted for grapes.
Yeah.
He's wanted for grapes in France. A guy in Japan wanted for grape.
Yeah, go
a guy
videos,
in
Jesse.
Ghana wanted for grape.
Yeah.
5 different women for the one from Ghana.
Yeah.
So it's kind of wild.
Yeah, I don't know where it is, but...
But he did it this World Cup?
Yeah, this World Cup.
Oh, is this mad respect for El Al-Yune?
Go 2026. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, I mean...
They don't want you to see it.
Right,
Google makes it... We'd like to see it.
Hold on. Moroccan player slicing on throat motion...
You really can't get it. I bet you TikTok will show it.
Here, I got it right here.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. Oh yeah, it's that one. Go any of those. No.
Yeah, this one. Moroccan play. Yeah. Disturbing throat gesture. There it is.
This is fun.
Did he say Allahu Akbar?
Yeah, he says Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
People get excited. People celebrate in different ways.
Undertaker used to do that. Now Google Morocco win Astoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah.
The whole Ali Akbar and then the throat slicing thing, for me it's like violence with sex. People celebrate in different ways.
They just do.
People celebrate in different ways.
Yeah, like people,
Some people like getting hit during sets. Some people like yelling glory to God while they blow things up.
Yeah, so this is, Morocco fans celebrate on Steinway Street after Morocco won. So I think, some of the residents of Astoria have been saying that they really hope Morocco doesn't beat France.
Oh my God.
So yeah.
They're just happy though.
100%. There's no violence.
Yeah.
They're just happy. That's fun.
Yeah.
No problem with that. Kids dancing. No problem. Yeah, and then the NYPD shows up.
Okay, now it's starting to get a little excited.
Yep.
Now we got some smoke bombs. Okay, now it's starting to get a little out of hand.
Christians. Okay.
Yeah, now it starts to get a little excited. Well, now somehow it just turned into October 7th footage.
It's just what it is. So, yeah, Guy, I mean,
People get excited.
World Cup is amazing. Patreon.com/historyhyenas is amazing. We always love to read out the names of the fans who've joined the Patreon. We get so many people joining each week that I know that people are upset that they haven't heard their name yet. You have to listen each week because we are a little behind, not because of us, because of you guys. Thank you so much. You're joining it in droves that we can't possibly read out all the names every single week. Of course, best name, funniest name wins the PPW, the pseudo penis of the week, because hyenas have pseudo penises and they give birth through their female genitalia. They're the only trans animal that we recognize. Patreon.com/history hyenas.
Can I just point out one thing about the Moroccan celebration?
Yes.
It seems like a commenter accurately noted that there's not a woman in sight.
Right.
And that is accurate.
That is accurate.
Look at the Colombia celebrating on Northern Boulevard on Friday night. It was just like that, except there were women. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think, that's exactly the point.
Yes.
I think that
Yeah,
just shows you difference in cultures a little bit.
I will tell you what,
bit.
Ecuador versus, was it Mexico last week? I went down to Roosevelt Avenue, which is known to have the brothels in Queens, and they were empty. So I had to, pay to blow a guy. So here it is. Okay, so starting off, call me chairman the way I put Zedong in her mouth.
That is...
Call me the chairman the way I put my Zedong in her mouth. M-A-O-T-H.
Really good.
Really good, but
good.
doesn't work, though. But good.
But what you call that that's the definition of a great chicken finger. Simple and easy, but also very good.
Megan Orr. Then we have Let's call them Kool-Aid Jammers.
Can we stop? Jesus Christ.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Fucking Christ.
Praise Allah. Death. Okay.
Get it out of here.
Hunter Hart. Zach Jones. Chris Hansen. Make no mistake, I'm still coming over gay in one hole for now.
Yeah.
Ty Urban, Ryan Lashinsky, Captain Kelly, Chrissy D looks like a gay boxer. Call him Muhammad, I'll eat your dick. Okay.
Drexler.
Black don't crack, but I...
Oh, jeez. Fucking... What is wrong with you people?
Nosy Leroy, call me Curious George. Jesus Christ. What did he say? Why is this happening?
Stop doing it.
Brandon Seaman, Chrissy, congrats on doing the right thing. Jen O'Neill, Brandon Trivet, Hungry Leroy, please. Jesus Christ.
It's just sometimes we get one of the. I think we just a bunch of racists join at the same time.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, guys. Got enema using Smithtown water and only cost me $3.
Very good. Drexler.
Mom Donnie's pastrami, a.k.a. Rama Duwaji's roast beef curtains. Okay. Tiff. Mo had concubines, so I fly Instagram toots to Dubai. Okay. Okay.
I'll Drexler it. I want to put it on the list. It's very funny, but
Grant Hitchcock. AOC's goofy nipples. Ching Chong with black dong.
Okay.
Get your old droog on the pod. What? Sam Nix, Alicia, Emily Girth, Raven, Christopher Dawson, Mike Reardon, Sush Boz, Bitch Ass Knickerbocker.
Okay.
Nicholas Yeadon, John Jaggett, Gil Valencia, Reed Bio, Natalia Golzamazea, Cook. My side piece is trans, so I call her my Glumar. Okay.
We had a Glumar before.
Hillary Traeger, Antonio Asensio. Grok called me a Leroy, so I left my family.
Okay.
I like my squeaks uncuckable. Unclipped spooge drippings. Leslie, Richie Rich, Drax Striker. Wow, I mean, we are going long without one making the list.
I know.
And by the way, real quick, just
who won?
Before I forget, I just want to read out who won last week. I forgot to do it during the episode, but the winner was by 59% to 41%. Got a couple of guys competing to do my taxes, called Ultimate Frisbee.
Wow.
You are the winner.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
So,
that's not what I picked. So,
but they are the winner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to they call me the sphincter of the action. They call my sphincter the action figure guillotine any other day.
Any other day, but that is the winner. So go to historyhyenas.com. You are the winner. See the name up in lights. Okay. Then we got BT. Then we got Father Bill is still at large. Hashtag never forget. Leroy James, king of the ceiling crickets in Newports.
Should almost give it to them because of the Leroy ceiling cricket, but I'm a Drexler it.
Preston Karen, Lance Wright, Marcel Mueller, Leroy Jenkins reach for the service. Okay. Josiah Hallman. She might leave me since I come to Grok every night. SLOKS. Mayo Monkey, but black from the credit score down.
Ladder 14.
Okay.
Counterfeit Frisbee. Call me George Fenton Yahoo. Okay. Jesus. Sarah LeBlanc, basic and white, PA. Oh, like Japanese Kenny.
Japanese Kenny, what's up?
Yeah. Hard decision. ... Should I get a circumcision? Haley, just tried my first PB&J and not talking about the sandwich. What did we say PB&Js were again?
Yeah.
What did we say?
I don't remember.
Prison bottom.
Oh, prison bottom in jail.
Yeah.
That's right, prison bottom
Not
in
talking.
jail.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
Drexler.
this is the long. We might not.
We might have one.
We might not have one, which it happens. I mean, Mexico lost in Stadium Azteca. Sometimes this happens.
Yeah.
But
Nothing's
this is
good
not
enough.
over yet. Dildo Baggins, hands jobs. The adrenochrome diet is better than keto. If my bug was any bigger, it would be a bigger chigger.
Okay.
Luke Madison, Halen Ogles, Sydney Sweeney's tits could never be that big under communism. It's what it is.
Put them on the list.
Okay,
yes,
so finally we got one. And it's a good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and that's an American kid.
Yeah, that's very funny.
Here for the content, Peter O'File, Broderick Bourneman, Rasmus Alsterborough. AOC fisted me so hard it became a quadriplegic.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Melted Six, Eric, Joseph Connors, Wei Shlong Xian, Horn Pub, hashtag screwed in Louisbury, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Piss Boner Save My Marriage.
I don't understand
get it.
that.
Asian Pussy Sideways like Paul Giamatti.
I like the movie.
Yeah. Louis Cheese. Why does the Flagrant podcast smell better now?
Ladder 14.
You know what?
It's what it is.
It's what it is.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. It's what it is.
Okay. Don't read my name, please. Nick, show Yanni Maslow's hierarchy of human needs.
Wait.
Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. I don't know. Maslow's hierarchy of human needs. Nick, show him. I don't know.
It's probably some sort of Maslow.
Yeah, it's a like a theory on your needs once you're at past survival. It's something.
It's like
deep in,
out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. David Broad, gay for you too on LeBron. Hey babe, was shit. Getty Lee, Wepo. Do you need a frisbee to ride the J train?
You need a frisbee to ride the Jew train. J train, yeah.
Captain Glue Albano.
Glue Albano.
Nice.
We had
Might
that.
have.
Yeah.
The Squeeze. Okay. Wilson Ladens, Pierno, and then last but not least, half black, half Jew. Call me Jerry Curl Seinfeld.
We have one.
That's
we only have one.
First time,
and it's a good one though.
And it is a good one, but
Yeah.
the first time in the history of the show since the first Reich in 2018.
No, I don't think we've ever had this.
This has never,
Yeah.
folks, never happened. Now
Clear winner.
No, it doesn't. Now listen, that's just how it goes. You're playing so many games, something's bound to happen. I mean, the best team, Yankees have finished in last place before. It happens.
Yeah.
But the only one that even made the list is the winner. One of one. Sydney Sweeney's tits could never be that big under communism. It's what it is.
Which is a great one.
You are the winner, and Sydney Sweeney is the winner, and you can masturbate to her. She got banged out a lot on that show, Euphoria.
Yeah, and I will say there were other good ones, but they were ones that cannot go up in lights. So
Yeah.
it just happened to be one of those lists.
So congrats to you. Go to patreon.com/Hyenas for more bonus content, and we'll see you next week.